The sun was high and merciless when your class was led out to the school field. PE competitions were in full swing and students roared with excitement, except you. You stood at the edge of the crowd, your arms crossed, offering the teacher a weak excuse about feeling dizzy. Your voice wasn't even questioned anymore. People knew better than to expect much from the quiet girl who blended into walls. Skipping again, ghost girl. You froze at that voice. Turning your head slightly, you saw him leaning against the door frame, arms crossed, a smirk tugging the corner of his lips. He was no other than John Jungkook, the school's bad boy, but you knew he wasn't bad in the way people assumed. He didn't drink, didn't party, didn't even hang out with girls. He fought sometimes too much, and lately he had been fighting you with words. You looked away. I'm not in the mood. He stepped in front of you, walking backwards as you tried to pass him. Not in the mood or just scared to lose in front of the whole school? Come on, what are you so scared of? You walk around like the world owes you something. You didn't reply. Are you mute or just picky with who gets the honor of hearing your voice? That made you stop. You looked up at him for just a second. Some people don't deserve it. For a split moment, his smirk faltered, just a flicker, but when you tried to leave, he blocked your way. Don't tell me you are skipping just because you can't outrun the cheerleaders. I'm not feeling well. You said flatly. Jungkook clicked his tongue. Right, convenient timing. You met his gaze. Why do you care? I don't. He shrugged, circling you slowly. It's just interesting how you vanish when it's time to show up. What's your excuse next time? Broken toe? You looked away, annoyed. You know, he continued, now walking backward as you moved toward the hallway. You walk around like a ghost in this school. Quiet, cold, untouchable. Kinda creepy actually. You stopped, then stop haunting me. His smirk faltered just for a second, that flicker in his eyes. You weren't supposed to fight back. Feisty, he murmured as you walked away. You'll talk when you want to, huh? You didn't look back. The school bell rang later that day, signaling freedom. The halls burst with energy. Talks of tuitions, ice cream parlors, night outs. You were just hoping to get home before your stepmother exploded over something petty. But like every other day lately, he was waiting by the gate. Jungkook leaned on his bike, one hand resting on the handlebar, the other dangling lazily by his side. When he saw you, he stood upright. Hey Cinderella, forgot your glass slipper? You sighed. What do you want now? To see if the Queen of Silence has anything to say today. Oh, by the way, how are you feeling now? Light-headed? Not to you, you muttered. Ah, he said dramatically, holding a hand to his chest. That hurts. I thought we were bonding. You raised an eyebrow. You call this bonding? He shrugged. You talk to me more than you talk to anyone else. That's something, isn't it? You tried to walk past, but he blocked you again. Tell me one thing, he said, a little softer this time. Do you really hate me or do you just hate everyone? You looked at him tired. Why do you even care? Why not mind your own business? This is my business, he said, eyes flickering with something unreadable. But it's weird. You never open up, not even once. Why? Got some problems? Shouldn't be your concern. You said it a bit coldly before walking away. He felt something off in your tone and he wanna know why you behave this way. He tilted his head. Try me. You didn't answer, and in that moment, you didn't realize your ID card slipped from your notebook and fell near the curb. As soon as you came home, dirty dishes and a messy living room was waiting for you. Your other siblings also came back from school and they were eating and playing. Meanwhile, you knew your tasks. So, after quickly changing in your pajamas, you came downstairs to do the work. You were up to your elbow in soapy water, scrubbing dishes while your step siblings howled with laughter from the living room. Crumbs littered the table, loud music played from the TV. Your stepmother sat on the couch sipping tea, feet on the table. Your clothes were stained, the hem of your shirt, damp from a spill hair, clung to your neck, and your fingers were wrinkled from the water. After your father passed away, she started treating you like a maid. No mercy, no care. You were surviving, doing all this work like a servant. But once you graduate from high school, you have promised to yourself that you will move out of this house and their lives. Because there's no connection, you're only their servant. Useless girl, your stepmother snapped. Don't leave even one dish uncleaned this time. Yes, you said softly, scrubbing harder. One of your stepbrothers shouted from the living room, Hey, bring me water. Can't you get it yourself? You muttered under your breath. What did you say? Your stepmother yelled. Nothing. That's when the bell rang. Your stepmother glanced toward the door. Go check and wipe your hands. Don't scare people with your greasy look. You quickly dried your hands and made your way to the door, but your stepmother had already opened it. Oh, John Jungkook, from school, right? Her tone suddenly sweet. Come in, she never gets visitors. Your heart dropped to your stomach. You stood frozen by the kitchen, panic rising. He stepped inside, his eyes scanning the home, the noise, the laughter, the mess. Then he saw you standing in the kitchen, holding a sponge, your shirt clinging damply to your side, strands of hair stuck to your forehead, hands red from scrubbing. He blinked when your eyes locked. What are you doing here? You asked, feeling so embarrassed that he was seeing you in this condition. He reached into his pocket and pulled out your ID card. You dropped this earlier. You swallowed hard. Thanks. Your stepmother's gaze sharpened as she turned to you. God, you're so clumsy and careless. Now, why are you just standing there? Go clean the living room next. Jungkook's eyes flicked between her and you. Good helper, isn't she? Your stepmother chuckled. Don't know where we would be without her. You didn't move. Go on, she barked. You finally stepped forward and took the ID card. I appreciate it. You whispered. Jungkook didn't say anything. He kept watching you. I didn't know she had friends, your stepmother added. She's usually so quiet, even with family. His gaze lingered on your stained shirt, the bruise on your wrist, the forced silence in your eyes. Then he looked at your stepmother. I'll go now, he said in a low voice. Oh, so soon? He nodded. Yeah, got what I came for. You watched him walk to the door, but before leaving, he turned back one last time. His eyes met yours, and this time there was no teasing, only understanding, only guilt, only the realization, and finally he understood the reason behind your silence. And to be honest, he never felt his heart ache in this way before. The next morning, everything felt heavier. Your uniform clung slightly to your skin from the summer humidity, but it wasn't the heat making you uncomfortable. It was the memory of last night, the memory of him, of Jungkook standing in your living room, seeing everything you tried so hard to hide. You walked through the school gates with your head down, gripping your books tighter than usual. You hoped to slip past quietly, unnoticed, as always, but there he was, leaning against the hallway wall near the entrance, arms crossed, head tilted like he had been waiting. His black backpack slung over one shoulder, eyes already locked on you the moment you stepped inside. You looked down immediately, your heart raced. Maybe he didn't see you. Maybe. Hey Jungkook, come on. His friend called out from across the hall. Jungkook didn't say anything. He pushed off the wall and walked away past you. Didn't even stop. Your breath hissed, but you didn't dare look back. In class, the seat beside you, his usual spot, remained unusually quiet. No food tapping, no snide remarks, no paper balls tossed your way. He didn't even glance at you, but you could feel it, the shift, the silence between you. You told yourself it was better that way. When the PE bell rang, the classroom emptied, everyone left in a whirlwind of chatter and energy. You stayed behind pretending to read, as always. Another excuse murmured to the teacher about cramps. You sat alone until the door creaked again. You didn't look up, thinking maybe someone forgot their bottle or bag. They came closer and then stopped. You looked up slowly and it was Jungkook. You froze. If you came to get something, I'll leave. You tried to get up and leave, but he blocked your way. Your heart raced with a closeness. He didn't move. I came for you. Your heartbeat stumbled. You looked away quickly, taking a small step back. If it's about yesterday, then no, I don't want to talk about it. He slid into the seat beside you anyway. You gritted your teeth. Why not? You looked at him. I get it, okay? You saw something pathetic. Thank you for returning my ID, but if you are here to mock my life, go ahead. I don't care anymore. He didn't laugh. I'm not here to mock anything. He said quietly, silence stretched between you. I just want to know. Is that your real life? He asked, voice softer than you had ever heard it. Do you get treated like that all the time? By your own family? Your throat tightened. They are not my family. You whispered, not looking at him. I don't consider them that. Jungkook sat still, absorbing your words. I'm using their roof and their food, so I have to work for them. That's the deal. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. But that house, it's yours too, isn't it? You live there. You shook your head. I don't want it. He looked at you like he was trying to understand a language he never learned. So you will just keep living like that, working like their servant? Not for long, you said, glancing down at your hands. Once I graduate, I'll leave. I'll find my way. I don't know how or when, but I will. Jungkook's brows furrowed. You shouldn't have to wait. You shouldn't have to live like that at all. I have lived like this for so long, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. But last night you saw it, and now I can't stop thinking about how I must have looked. He shook his head. You looked like someone who didn't deserve any of that. You looked strong. You finally looked at him. He looked in your eyes. I've always wondered why you were so quiet, why you never talked. I thought maybe you were just cold or arrogant. I didn't know it was because you were surviving. You blinked quickly, swallowing the lump in your throat. Why are you even here, Jungkook? He looked down, then back at you, because I think I owe you more than just your ID card. You let out a small breath of disbelief. This is weird. You whispered, what is? Talking to you like this? I don't even know why I'm telling you all this. He smiled faintly. Yeah, weird for me too. I didn't plan this, but I think there's a lot inside you that you want someone to hear, and luckily, your heart recognized it could be me. Your heart skipped a beat. It was true. You didn't mind it because for the first time in years, you weren't holding your pain alone, and it was the last person you expected to carry, even a piece of it with you. Things didn't change at home, not even a little. You still walked through the same door every evening to the same looks of annoyance, the same cold stares, and the same barking orders. The house felt like a prison wearing a pretty dress, one that never fit you. But something inside you had changed, and it started the day Jungkook sat beside you without judgment. At school, he didn't say much the next morning, but he was there. When someone made a joke at your expense during group work, Jungkook looked up and said sharply, you got something useful to say or just nothing? It was lunch break. You usually waited for the canteen crowd to thin out before you went in. Less attention, less chaos. But today Jungkook stood at the counter grabbing two trays. You slowed your steps, confused. Without looking, he handed you one. You like the egg rolls, right? He asked, casually balancing his own tray. You blinked. How do you? You always look at them like they are gold but never take them. You stared at the tray in your hands. There were two egg rolls and a carton of your favorite banana milk. You weren't used to someone noticing. Thanks. You mumbled, unsure. He didn't say anything, just motioned with his head toward a bench at the back of the cafeteria. You followed. When you both sat down, a few heads turned, conversations paused for a moment, people stared, but you didn't care. You noticed the whispers. Wait, is that Jungkook? Since when does he sit with her? Didn't he used to tease her like crazy? He didn't react, neither did you. He pushed the tray slightly toward you. Eat first. You skipped breakfast. Your eyes narrowed. Were you watching me? He shrugged, chewing his food. Maybe. You stared at your tray. Your stomach was tight, not used to kindness coming from someone who used to call you Ghost Girl. But something in his tone wasn't teasing anymore. He didn't talk much while you ate, just sat there, occasionally pushing napkins toward you or reminding you to drink water. The next day he did it again and again. He brought your lunch tray, waited for you, and sat with you even when others invited him to their table. Once someone joked, Jungkook, are you dating the school librarian now? Jungkook looked at them with dead eyes. Wanna say that again? They didn't. That afternoon he walked beside you after class. Why do you keep doing this? He finally asked. Doing what? Feeding me, sitting with me, protecting me. He shrugged. You eat more when I'm around. That's not an answer. He stopped walking. You did too. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe because it pisses me off to see you suffer in silence. Maybe because I used to make it worse and I hate that now. You looked away, suddenly feeling bare again. He added softly. Maybe because I like seeing you eat, smile, exist without folding in on yourself. That made your heart pause. You didn't reply, but your steps beside him, the rest of the way home, felt lighter. You started staying out longer. You didn't rush back to that house. You knew what waited scolding for being late, no dinner, cold looks, but you didn't care because you weren't hungry. Jungkook made sure of that. Sometimes he bought you rice cakes on the walk, sometimes he made you ramen at the convenience store and sat on the bench beside you. One evening you reached for your wallet, but he stopped you. I got it. You don't have to keep doing this, you said. I want to. He replied without hesitation, and somehow that was harder to swallow than the food because no one ever wanted to do anything for you, not without expecting something in return. He didn't expect anything, he just stayed. And even if your house was still hell, Jungkook had unknowingly given you a piece of something sacred, a feeling of freedom. The clock on the wall ticked toward midnight, but the house was already echoing with fury. Your stepmother stood in the middle of the kitchen, arms crossed, eyes blazing. You think you are better than us now, huh? Coming late every day like you are some queen? You clenched your fists but stayed quiet. I asked you to make a sandwich for your sister. Was that too much to ask? She's tired from her tuitions too. You looked up, calm but cold. She has hands. She can make it herself. Your stepmother's face turned red. What did you just say? After everything we do for you, feeding you, clothing you, you cut her off. You're not feeding me. I eat outside and I buy my own clothes. She took a step forward. You ungrateful brat. If you think you're grown up enough to talk back, then you're grown up enough to get the hell out. You didn't even flinch. You quietly walked to your room, packed your bag, took your phone, your ID, the little savings you had been putting together from tutoring younger kids after school. You didn't cry, you didn't slam the door, you just left. You sat on a cold metal bench at the bus stop, hugging your back to your chest. It was dark, empty, and suddenly very, very lonely. You pulled out your phone, hovered your thumb over Jungkook's number. He had done so much already, sat beside you at lunch, slid his milk carton toward you when he thought you hadn't eaten, acted like nothing when others teased, laughed softly when you did, even if your jokes weren't funny. He had never said it aloud, but you could tell he was trying. But asking for help, that was different. You took a deep breath and shoved your phone back in your pocket, and just then a soft rumble in the distance, a motorcycle. Your eyes flicked up, a black bike zoomed past, then screeched to a halt a few meters ahead. The rider turned around slowly and pulled off his helmet. He was Jungkook. He stared at you, you stared back. He didn't ask, he didn't tease. He just parked the bike and walked over, eyes scanning your bagged bag, then your face. You okay? You nodded, but your lips were trembling. I left that house. There was silence for some time. Get on, he said, tilting his head toward the bike. Where? My place. You blinked. Jungkook. My parents own a building next to our house. He said, already taking your bag from you. There's a small studio there. Clean, safe. You can stay there. He looked down, voice barely above a whisper. Why are you doing this? He crouched slightly to meet your eyes. Because I couldn't just ride past you like that. You looked away, he just smiled gently, and because you looked like you needed someone tonight. That did it. Your walls crumbled, you nodded and climbed behind him. As the bike took off into the night, you pressed your cheek lightly to his back. A whisper of a tear slipped down your cheek, but this one felt freeing. Maybe you didn't have a family in that house, but maybe, just maybe you were building one out here, with someone who saw you, someone who stayed. Jungkook's bike came to a gentle stop outside the neat, modest apartment building that stood next to a slightly larger house. You recognized the place vaguely, having passed by it once or twice, but never imagined it would become your refuge. He parked the bike and helped you off gently. You clutched your backpack tightly, nerves spiking now that the underline had worn off. What if his parents hated this? What if they thought you were a burden? But as Jungkook opened the gate and led you toward the door, the warm scent of spices and home cooked food wrapped around you like a comforting blanket. Before you could even knock, the door opened. Oh my goodness, you must be Vian. Jungkook's mother beamed as she stepped forward, wrapping you in a soft embrace that you hadn't received in years. We have heard a lot about you. Jungkook's father followed close behind, his face calm and kind. Welcome, dear. Come inside. You look cold. You blinked confused. Heard about me? Jungkook scratched his neck and looked to the side. I might have told them a little. His mother took your backpack, ushering you in while chattering about dinner. You stepped into the small but tidy living room, warm and lived in, a place that actually felt like someone cared here. Jungkook's mom gestured toward the dining table. You must be starving. Sit, eat first. We'll talk after. I I can't stay long. I just need a place to sleep until I find a part-time job. I'll pay rent, I swear. His dad held a hand, gentle but firm. No rush, child. You're a student. Study well. Graduate. Become something great. That will be your repayment. When you are ready, we'll be happy to accept whatever you give. That kindness, the way they didn't look at you with pity or judgment, just warmth, hit something deeper inside. Tears welled in your eyes before you could stop them. You wiped them away quickly, sniffling. I'm sorry. You murmured. Jungkook's mom patted your back. Don't apologize. You're safe now. Jungkook picked up your small suitcase and motioned for you to follow. Come on, I'll show you your room. You walked behind him through a small corridor, heart thudding quietly in your chest. He pushed open a door, revealing a cozy room, barely big enough for a bed and a desk, but clean, with fresh sheets, a small window, and even a potted plant by the sill. I cleaned it myself, he said, trying to sound casual, but you could hear the pride in his voice. You turned to him, still holding back tears. Thank you, Jungkook. He shrugged, eyes flicking to the floor. It's nothing, just don't go crying in here, Dome. You'll make the place humid. You chuckled softly. I'm not crying. Sure, whatever you say. A quiet moment passed, then you said, You really told your parents about me? He leaned against the doorframe. Yeah, I didn't like seeing you go through that alone. They deserve to know how amazing you are. Your cheeks heated. Amazing? Well, you survived a hell house all these years and still go to school like nothing is wrong. That's badass. You looked around the small room again, your heart lighter than it had been in years. It's small, but I hope you'll adjust. You looked at him. It's perfect. He smiled, walking closer to you. You know what's the best part about it? It's right next to my room, so if you ever feel like crying again, you can come cry outside my window. You laughed for real this time, and just like that, your new life began with a warm meal, kind voices, and the boy who made the world feel a little less cruel.